Hi, good morning, friends. Carrie from down in Texas. Okay, I got to do a recap today on some really important things that you need to rethink about, make a mental note of, go out and do your own research on, find out, be informed, make an informed decision, know exactly what the real facts are when it comes to this election. And these are documented things that we're going to talk about. We're revisiting these have been talked about before, but I think it's time to go back and revisit all of this. So the first thing, we have a massive crisis in our border, right? We all know this. The numbers that are reported today are 15 million, but they are saying that that number is way off. So it's probably more like 20 million. 20 million undocumented workers stealing your jobs, stealing jobs from Americans, getting paid phones, getting money, getting housing, getting transportation. What are you getting? What about all those people that have come here legally like I have? How come we don't get that? How come you can come to this country illegally? The first thing you do when you get here is break the law, and you're treated like you're a VIP. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. We have got to close the border. We are in historic inflation. 43%, the average basic food items have gone up in 4 years. That's just to survive. Bread, milk, orange juice, coffee, bacon, eggs. I mean, 43% in 4 years. No wonder we're in the situation that we were in. The highest inflation since the Depression. We have high gas prices in every single state, higher than we did 4 years ago, because we will not be self-sufficient. We've got to depend on bad characters to give us our gasoline. Why? It's in our backyard. All we got to do is go get it. I mean, how stupid do we have to be? Spending it from people who don't want us to succeed, who actually want to hurt us, instead of drilling in our own backyard. High gas prices. Consumers now have higher debt than they have ever had before because they cannot make ends meet. We are using our credit cards. The credit card companies are gouging us. They're increasing their credit rates. The banks are increasing their rates. We are using our credit cards just so we can pay our bills. Pay our bills. We can't get ahead of that because the average percentage rate today is over 25%. 25% on credit cards. We have let how many terrorists in the country because we have an open border? Do they have a clue? No. Do they know where they are? No. Do they know who they are? No. Are they here plotting to destroy us? Yes. And this administration takes no accountability for it. We are in another war. The Russia-Ukraine war we are involved in. We have sent money to them instead of keeping money at home to take care of the American people. Donald Trump told you he wasn't going to take us to another war, and he did not. He kept his word. This administration has us so deeply involved when Americans need that money today more than they ever had. When are we going to start taking care of Americans and not the rest of the world? Israel and Hamas war. Why are we not, with this administration, seeing a definite stance and protecting one of our greatest allies? I don't understand it. It's dangerous, it's irresponsible, and it goes against our entire history with Israel. Why? What explanation? There are no explanations. It's just turning of the head and not paying attention because we have weak leaders currently in the White House. The next thing is just an absolute disgrace. The uncategorically worst military failure in United States history, the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Today, as of this video, There are 13 families that have lost their loved ones from that exodus from Afghanistan, and the president and the vice president still, to this day, as of this video, have not reached out to those families. That is a disgrace. That one thing alone should tell you how poor the leadership is of Harris and Biden. How can you want them to be president when they cannot even acknowledge that 13 servicemen and women died on their watch? They actually said there has been no serviceman or woman die during their administration. Where are they? On Mars? Obviously. 13 men and women died, and they have not heard from the sitting president or the sitting vice president. How dare you insult the memory of those soldiers who died while you were commander-in-chief and co-commander-in-chief? It's despicable. Violent crime. I can tell you here in Houston, where I am, 2 young, innocent American girls were violently, brutally raped and murdered by illegals that were repeat offenders. We know they're here illegally. They were arrested, released, and then, after we had them 3 times, they were released and they went out. Girls, brutally raped and murdered. They have tried with all of their might to destroy another human being that is running against them. Their obsession with Donald Trump is like nothing we've ever seen in history before. They have weaponized the American judicial system and the American election system against their opponent. Do we live in Venezuela, or do we live in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America, where we settle things politically, not with violence and weaponizing our judicial system? You are obsessed with Donald Trump because you can't buy him, because you can't control him, because he is not one of you, and he answers to the American people. You cannot buy and sell Donald Trump, and you are obsessed with his destruction, to the point, and I'm going to say it, where you have actually tried to assassinate him twice. Yeah, that's what the American people believe, because you have done nothing to dissuade the American people that you haven't done that. What does that say about our current leadership? Well, not much. Actually, pretty scary. That you would actually consider the destruction of another American because you can't buy and sell him. He will not be bought. Pathetic. Why did you cover up the sitting president's absolute decline in health? Did you not think the American people deserved truth and honesty? That the man was in serious decline? How could you jeopardize the safety and the continuation of our government because of his physical and emotional decline? That's a cover-up. Every single one of you should lose your elected position because you covered that up. You lied to the American people. You deceived the American people. And you jeopardized our safety and our lives because of your cover-up. We have all of this amazing energy in our own backyard, and you won't go get it. You've destroyed the energy sector. You've got thousands of employees that don't have a job. Again, because it's Donald Trump's policy, and you will do anything to prevent any success, including causing hardworking Americans to lose their job, where they lose their homes, they lose their livelihood, and you don't care. Yes, our environment is important, but people have to eat and live, and we need gasoline, and it's in our backyard, and you just won't do it. You act like a 4-year-old. You just will throw in a temper tantrum and you won't do it. Our children right now have the lowest grade scores of any time in our history. Wow. That's sad. Kids K through 12, their scores are so low, which means they're all behind, which means they're going to have to catch up. And that's because you just haven't allowed choice. Again, a control that hurts the American people. Then you throw Joe out because you now know that he's incapable, and because you specifically saw that he was in decline, and you knew Donald Trump was going to beat him by a landslide. And so you created and conducted a coup. And you replaced him with the same person that you personally have said is the worst vice president in history. She is the worst in history, and she's the most unpopular vice president ever on both sides of the aisle. And you coronated her with not one vote. You circumvented your own party's decision. And you put her in place because you didn't have enough time to find anybody else. And you just hope that she will skirt in on the current administration's coattails. The most unpopular vice president, most unproductive vice president in American history. And you actually believe she has what it takes to be the president? She has no communication skills. She has no plan with no details. All she does is talk word salad all the time. She never answers a direct question. What is opportunity in economy? What are the specifics? What are the specific functions she's going to do to change our economy? We still wait for that. We still have no clue. She can't answer the question. How is this woman who can't communicate going to stand against Putin and Xi Jinping? She can't. She can't. She doesn't have the skill set to prevent World War III. She just doesn't. I'm sorry she doesn't. She doesn't. And the American people know she doesn't. You, on the other hand, you don't care that she can't as long as you stay in power. What you need, your desires, your income, your position, and your power mean more than the livelihood and life and our country. You mean more. Your selfish desires mean more than those of the American people and the survival of our country against those two who are right now meeting with each other and conducting war games. Why are they doing that? Well, why the hell do you think they're doing that? To destroy us. That's why they're doing it. She can't stand with these people. She does not have the authoritarian presence or communication skills to prevent World War III. Now, you can go find all this information if you're willing to do the investigation and become an informed, educated American voter. You don't have to take my word for it. Go find it. It's out on the internet. The problem is probably 30% of the American public just does not know. They don't have the time, or they're not inclined, or they're just going to go with what everybody else is doing. That is not how you become an educated voter. You got to go find the information for yourself. And everything I've told you today is on the internet and it is documented. And these are the reasons that we cannot afford another 4 years with the Democratic leadership and the Democratic platform. It will destroy the United States as we know it. We will become a socialist society where the government makes all of your decisions. No joke. And one final thing. My mother always used to say, leopards don't change their spots. They don't and they can't. Do you honestly think that the change in her so-called policies are actual change? Or are they just flip-flops so she can get elected? Because she's not going to be in power, people. I'm going to give you some names of those people who are going to continue to be in power if you elect their puppet in Kamala Harris. Biden, Clinton, Pelosi, Schumer, and all the other leaders of the Democratic Party. They've had 12 of the last 16 years, and look where we are. Many of us can't put food on their table. Many of us have lost their homes, their businesses, and some have actually lost their children because they've lost their homes. Really? Enough. It's time to put Donald Trump back in the White House, because you have to just go back 4 years to see the incredible difference of where you were then to where you are today. This is Carrie from Texas. God bless you. Have a spectacular day. And God bless the United States of America.